What's the best way to store cigars? How do you store cigars properly? Cigar Storage 101. How do you keep them safe? Tupperware, humidor, Tupperdoor. What do all these things mean? How do I keep my cigars safe and not have them rot away on me and have them still be a pleasant smoking experience when it's time for me to smoke? And how do I do that without spending a lot of money? I don't want to break the bank on this. Well, that's what I'm here to help you with today. I'm Johnny. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about how to store cigars, because your cigars are going to come in packages. They're going to come in boxes. They're going to come in bags.
It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
The rules for cigar storage are threefold, but mostly just twofold. The first two things are humidity, keeping that humidity in the right range, and then temperature, keeping that temperature in the right range. And the third one is to keep them out of direct sunlight. So you want somewhere that's dark and that is temperate and controlled humidity environment. Now you can control that humidity however you want to. Some people do it in a huge humidor room. Costs a lot of money. Some people do it in massive humidor closet type things, fancy electronic components. You really only need something that is going to secure, not allow humidity out of an environment. You can get Tupperware, you can get plastic bags, you can get anything that you need that would hold in that humidity that you're going to need for those cigars and not allow it to escape, and also allow you to store cigars in it. Any container that would hold humidity will allow you to store your cigars and keep them humid if you've got something that will provide humidity to that situation. Now, there are solutions for that are quite easy. Boveda packs are really the phenomenal choice in this day and age. In fact, they're the only choice because they're so simple to use. What they do is they allow two-way humidity control. So you buy one, whether it's 62%, 68%, 70%, it doesn't matter, whatever percentage you buy, and it will bring the humidity up or down to this range within a reasonable margin of error. It cannot take a gallon of water out of the air, but it can replace a little bit of water into the air and take a little bit of water out of the air to bring the humidity down from 74 to 72, or from 68 down to 62, or from 58 up to 66, depending on what your humidity pack is and what it's trying to do. It can do both things in both ways. And that's really fantastic because that allows you to really step back and forget a lot about your cigar storage and just to check on it periodically, right? And that's what we all want. We don't want to spend a lot of time working on this. We want to be able to store cigars and have them be safe and be taken care of and not have to worry about it. And that's the nice thing about Boveda packs. And this is not sponsored by them. It's just that they have a really great product that really works really well. If you're going to be storing anything like cigars, this is the way to do it. What humidity levels do you want to look into to even store your cigars? And that is going to be that is a bear to discuss. The reason I say that's a bear to discuss is because many people have wide and varied opinions on this. And the more you smoke cigars, the more your tastes are going to change on what you prefer. Generally, new cigar smokers prefer about a 70% RH, humidity level, for their cigars. That is like the area where there's the most aroma and softness to a cigar. The cigars taste richer, they taste fuller, and many people, when they're newer to cigar smoking, really prefer that experience. The issue there is that they are a little bit harder to keep lit because they're a little bit more moist. As you get into cigars and you smoke them longer, you begin to prefer the taste of them a little bit drier. Many people find this. Not everyone does, but many people do. So some folks start preferring to get a 66 or 68% humidity for the humidor. And then some go even further and they go down even lower. I prefer for my humidor about a 62, and I am in the minority with that, and I know that. When it comes to 62 or 65, like that range right there, there's a better burn to cigars, there's less swelling, fewer draw problems. They're fantastic for smaller ring gauges or for people who live in a very humid environment already. 62% is great for that. Some cigars will lose a little bit of sweetness at that level, but they'll taste a little bit more, they can taste a little less aromatic at that point as well. Many people don't like 62%, and I understand that, I get it. 62% is where I prefer to smoke cigars. That's like when I'm gonna get one, I go for my humidor that's got 62%, and that's where I'm pulling them from. I move cigars to that one when I get them ready to smoke because I prefer to that. But when I store cigars for long term, they're stored in a 70% humidity environment or 68% humidity environment for a large humidor, and then I move them to a jar on my desk, an acrylic jar, with 62% humidity, and that's where I keep the ones that I'm planning to smoke soon-ish. That way I don't have to go looking for them in a massive humidor. I can just go right here to my desk, grab one out of there, and it's already at the humidity that I want it at. So I would say the general guide I would give people is to say start at 70, 72. As you get into cigars, you may notice that you start preferring them a little bit drier. If you find that you're storing them at 72, but when you go to smoke it, you leave it out for an hour to let that humidity out a little bit before you smoke it. If you find that's preferred for you, then maybe you want to start going down to 68. Maybe you want to start going down to 66. If even at 68 and 66, you find that you're still laying your cigars out and letting them sit for an hour or two before you smoke them, you might want to try 62 or lower. Or not lower, but you might want to try going it down to 62 because that might be what you prefer. And that's what I prefer and what I have preferred. So maybe that will be what you wind up preferring as well. And it could be completely wrong. It could be that you just like to stay at 70 and you want to stay there. And if that's the case, that's on you, man. You do you, and that's fantastic. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. Don't let anyone tell you different. So, with that said, humidity control is what we want to do. Think of those ranges, and those are the ranges you're going to go for when you get a Boveda pack. Now, what do you put them in? Well, Tupperware works really great. If you got a Tupperware container that's large enough to hold the amount of cigars you're going to do, that works fantastic. You can also get those acrylic jars you might see at Walmart. At Walmart or Target or wherever it is that you shop, you can find things that are airtight containers that you can use. You can use mason jars even, as long as you can fit the Boveda pack in there with the number of cigars that you're trying to store. And as long as you got a container that can fit the size of the cigars you're going to store, because like for many cigars, like general Robusto sizes, like that could fit in a large, like this big Robusto size, that could fit in a large mason jar. But some of the larger cigars, a little bit taller, they might not be able to fit into it. It might just be a little bit too tall. So if you got a bunch of Churchill style cigars, a bunch of longer ones that are much taller, like the acrylic jars you get from Walmart or Target, they might be a better option for you, and that's just great. Now, when it comes to temperature, you want to keep the temperature range in your humidor about 68 to 70. You don't want to get too far out of there. If your house is 72, don't worry about it. Keep it in the basement. Keep it in the closet. Just don't have it in direct sunlight. Don't have it in a garage that's not temperature controlled. Don't have it in a cellar that's not temperature controlled. Keep it somewhere in your home that's temperature controlled, not in a window where it can get a lot of heat, whatnot from the sun. You just want to keep it somewhere where it's going to be relatively temperate throughout the year. So we talked about humidity, we've talked about temperature, we've talked about the different storage options that you have. When it comes to using a Boveda pack, it's as simple as opening it and setting it into the container. Now, how do you know that your container is staying at the right humidity? Well, that's where we have these hygrometers, is what they're called. You can buy a digital hygrometer for a couple of dollars on Amazon. You put a little watch battery inside of it, and then you set it inside of your acrylic container, and you can see at a glance the humidity inside of it without ever having to open your humidor. And that's a fantastic thing, because then you know that your cigar's taken care of. You know they're doing well. I can look at mine right now and say that's 62%. It says 62% right in the hygrometer, so I know it's 62%. Now I have a 62% Boveda pack in there, so I know it should be 62% no matter what. And as long as that Boveda pack looks good and isn't having an issue, I know I'm taken care of. What does it mean if a Boveda pack isn't looking good and does have an issue? How am I going to know? Well, that's pretty easy to answer too. When you pull a Boveda pack out and you touch it and you move it in your hands, you're going to notice that it's very fluid. It's got this like watery gel type substance in there, right? And the whole thing is watery and gel type. Really easy to tell when it's good. When they start to go bad is when they start to dry up. This is like a this is like a salt and water kind of solution in there. So as the moisture inside of this pack starts to evaporate out of it, it's going to start to get crystallized. It's going to start to harden in areas. And you're going to, like when you're going to move it, you're going to feel those chunks of hardened crystal-like material in there. You're going to feel it crunching a little bit, and that's when you realize it's starting to lose that moisture. Now you can try to re-moisturize these. I don't suggest that. I suggest that you go the option of getting a new one. But if you did re-moisturize them, you can put them in a very humid environment, and they're very likely going to start soaking up moisture again, unless they're completely dry, in which case they're probably just done. Now you'll notice in this video, I did not address the little water beads that people use, or the tricks they use, the shot glass and distilled water, because the reason I don't do that is this. When cigars get too humid, up to 72%, and they're warm, humidity plus a warm environment equals one thing: mold. And what you don't want on your cigars is mold. High humidity and warm temperatures initiate mold. We don't want mold. That is another reason you might want to err on the side of less humidity in the environment you're storing your cigars in, and less heat as well. If you keep it in, maybe you got your house at 70 degrees, keep your cigars in the basement where it might be 68 to 60, or 68 to 66 degrees. That might be a better spot to store your cigars, because then they're staying a little cooler. And remember, the enemy here is high humidity and warmth. That's what creates mold. We don't want to get mold in our cigars when we store them for a long time. And if you store them for years, maybe you would. Hopefully you're smoking your cigars sooner than that. But I digress. That's why I highly suggest a two-way system like the Boveda pack, because then if the humidity gets too high in there, it will start taking moisture content out of the air. If you have those gel beads and you're not paying too much attention, and the humidity will start to increase for time because there's no way for it to escape, because you haven't opened the top, you've left it for 3 months, and you haven't gone to look at it, and you go down there to look at it, and that humidity has crept up to 72 to 74 to 76%, and now you walk down there and all your cigars are covered in mold. Oh, I don't like that. What do I do? Not much, frankly. You don't want to smoke them if they got mold on them. They're just toast. And that's why you want to be careful with what you're doing and how you store them. You don't want to get it too hot. You don't want to get it too humid. You want a system that's going to control the humidity two-way for you. And those Boveda packs are really fantastic for them, which is why I suggest those right off the bat. Like, if you're going to do anything that's going to be expensive, that's like $5, $10 pack or whatever for Boveda packs, buy that. And it's like a set and forget it kind of thing. You put it in a sealed, airtight, container, and then you're cooking with Crisco, right? You're done. You're set. You're golden. You're taken care of. It's no problem. No fuss, no muss. Thanks for sticking around in the video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to head over to Instagram, Facebook. Give me a like and a follow over there. I'm at Whittling Piper on Facebook and at Whittling Piper on Instagram. And yeah, I really appreciate the follow. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time.